his post-baptismal life on earth is not as as a human being. He is now functioning as a descending son. I want to draw a little picture on the board. Symbolizes a firehouse. See, if I can deal with fried eggs and firehouses, by gollies, it's the only way I can stop being afraid of these ideas. It's a 3-story firehouse. And that, you can see the stories, can't you? That thing running down the middle is the fire pole. You know that the firemen slide down? Now, the first story is the finite level. And the top story, the third story, is the absolute level. We're going to refer to this many times as we go through this book. The middle story is the absentite level, the transcendental level. The first story, you got limitations of time and space. On the top story, you have absolutely no conception of time and space. No reaction to time and space. It isn't real. On the middle story, the transcendental level, they know all about time and space and transcend them. Here, you remember the story of the evolution of a creative spirit? Not that's in part 2, but in part 1 on the supreme spirits. It speaks in a certain point. It's in about the 3rd stage. She's hardly yet differentiated from within the infinite spirit. It says that we are not sure, but we believe that at about this point, this being becomes group conscious of destiny and becomes space cognizant. This creative spirit has to learn to become conscious of space, because when she joins her Michael coordinate in the super-universe adventure, the local universe adventure, she is going to pervade all of the space of her local universe. And she's got to be conscious of space in order to stop at the edge of the local universe. Because beyond her presence is not Nebuchadnezzar. Where she is present, that is our local universe. The thought adjuster. Is he time conscious? No. The thought adjuster in his time relationships is as of the 3rd story. He's space conscious, though. Golly, he has to be. Otherwise, how would he know to stand still where we are? You remember Jesus' adjuster said, now don't worry. If you form some idle wish, I wish I were in Rome and talking to one of the Stoics there, he said, nothing will happen. I understand all about this. But he said, if you want to abridge time by some wish, I can't help you. It isn't real to me. Now, I think that center pole I like to present as the personality of the Universal Father. It is real on all 3 levels of our firehouse. And what we encounter when we reach paradise and engage in the deity adventure from the 3rd Havona circle, what we're doing is we're crawling in on the floor of the 1st story and touching the center pole. I believe that God down here can adventure and experience uncertainty, truly adventure. Up here, the Universal Father, as absolute, the Father infinite, knows the end from the beginning. Here, he lives in eternity. Here, by one means or another, he adventures in time. Even as the combined nature of Michael in the post-bestowal ministry here on earth you have to reckon with a human consciousness and a divine consciousness, and the interaction between the two. Michael had a soul. Rather, Jesus had a soul. He commended something into the hands of the universal Father when he died, because no seraphim was able to cope with it, take care of it. And that soul survived. And that soul is still in existence as the human nature of the Master Son who is sovereign of this local universe. There is a human aspect to Michael of Nebada today. A soul evolves. When this little Jewish baby was in his 5th year, he made a moral choice. And it probably was a typical moral choice. And basic morality is a choice between selfishness and altruism. And when he made that choice, this thought adjuster who dwelled him left Divinington and invaded the human mind. And that invasion constitutes the conception of the soul. And all throughout the purely mortal career of Joshua ben Joseph, he grew a soul, just like you grow one or I grow one, except he grew a really big one. He grew to the point of adjuster fusion. That's a big soul. That's a soul ready to be born, not by cesarean section, but normal birth. He would have probably have skipped the mansion world, you know?
Yeah.
He didn't have anything to learn there.
At the end.
Time of baptism, the adjuster was detached. The soul is still there.
Yeah.
You now have a unique relationship between the human mind of Joshua ben Joseph, the mature soul of Joshua ben Joseph and the thought adjuster, and the divine mind of Michael. Now, when Michael died, Joshua ben Joseph died, just as you will die and I will die someday. Michael didn't die. You don't kill a creator son. And the papers point out that during the time of the tomb, many things happened which indicates that Michael was alive. One of his last words were, "Father, into your hands I commend the keeping of my spirit." That soul went somewhere. Now when you or I die, I know what's going to happen. Our group guardians or our individual guardian will take over. Michael didn't have a seraphim anymore. I don't know where his soul went, but I'm certain that when the Morancha Jesus was resurrected, this was built around that soul, because that's what the Morancha you was going to be built around. Where it was during the 3 days of the tomb is up for grabs. No one knows. Now, when Jesus was released from the Morancha state, I think that soul went right with him. In other words, the character, the human character of Joshua ben Joseph is still a part of the divine nature, the combined nature of Michael of Nebada. Peter's son is a Melchizedek too.
Yeah.
He is a primary Lananandek.
He's a combination of all of the 7 bestowals.
Check. His character is a mosaic of all of these. Even as the experiential character of a personalized adjuster is the mosaic of all the beings he ever indwelt.
Otherwise he wouldn't go through this.
Yes, that's right. Now, a thought adjuster, I don't think really knows the outcome of the adventure. If he did, would it be an adventure? I think the thought adjuster knows the odds. Some may not be good, and some